Your thoughts on that game and the blackout?
Yeah, I tell you what, the energy was electric. I love the look of it. The black uniforms, the black end zones, the black. I loved everything about it. I know we're catching some grief because the back and black coming out. I know with Iowa playing it, but I'm all for that one game scenario year. We have the black. I loved it. I thought the effort was great. The game plan was really, really good. What honestly it comes down to was just Dylan getting hurt. I think if he's healthy, Nebraska wins that game, and unfortunately, it's not the case. It's hard to put a young quarterback, a freshman quarterback, even though he has played some time, going in the second half when you're up by 40, 50 points against Akron, Houston Christian is vastly different than playing a really good USC team at night when the lights were very, very bright. I thought the defense, even though stopping the run wasn't as good as it needed to be, but again, they got the necessary stops. That was my biggest concern was, can the defense create enough stops to get the ball back to the offense? And they did, holding that offense to 21 points, but just not enough weapons, not weapons off, but just with TJ Latif going in offensively, you're just not able to capitalize as much as you can when Dylan went from the playbook. Vastly different heading into this week now. He knows he's going to be the starter, but that's where it comes down to, just a freshman that didn't get a ton of reps, and you were protecting him with the play calls in the second half.
We get to more of the breakdown, but just the atmosphere. You've been a lot of games there. What was the feel like of the game?
Yeah, for me it was electric. It's been a long time since I had goosebumps like that where I could feel the excitement. I think, seeing T. Fraze for the coin toss and having Aaron Taylor out there and a lot of the guys, just the crowd, the student section there so early. Blacked out was sensational. So I felt like from an environment standpoint, it was electric. And there were times where I felt like Nebraska really played their best ball. So, it's like Jay said, right? You want to keep your quarterback healthy, and I think for Nebraska, there's lots of thoughts and narratives and commentaries on how Nebraska plays defense, and I think it's not even remotely close to one of my main concerns. You can't stop it all. Last year at this time, we were whining about guys too far off, and they were throwing balls over our heads, and we were getting a 3rd and long. So, USC had 61 snaps. They were held to their rushing average. That run game is fantastic, from counter to gap to cutting back play side. And listen, 61 snaps and 21 points, that's good enough to win that football game. So we can hand-wring and have a lot of consternation over stats, but it is about points, and they kept USC way down. And if you told me the game stylistically was going to be played like that, I'd tell you Nebraska won the game. So there's plenty to build on as they head to Pasadena.
Yeah, and you've got a Lincoln Riley offense that has been successful everywhere he's been, and that was the second lowest completion rate, and that was the second lowest amount of yards a quarterback of his had. That just shows you how good they were.
Yeah, they were. The secondary has been fantastic, and like DB said,
and pass rush too. They got to him.
Yeah, they did,
especially without run action.
Yeah, but you look at what they're able to do, and again, you got to pick and choose your battles. When Nebraska is very, very young up front and inexperienced, in the strength of this team, and the most experience is in the secondary, you got to kind of pick and choose your battles. I mean, they were right there. Not a lot of leaky yardage, not a lot of yards after catch. Guys were in the face. I mean, Andrew Marshall, all these plays. Marshall, Sierra Wright was fantastic, holding Lamone to 2 catches for the Knights. I mean, that's just, I think that last time it happened was probably last year when they played Nebraska as well. So, but yeah, they did enough defensively. 100% they did enough, and it just comes down to offense and just what happened in the second half with injuries. And but no, I love where this defense is. Other than the end game result, the win or loss, I thought they executed at a very, very high level. I love the energy. I love the passion. I love the attention to detail. There's some things, obviously, you can clean up in there. You're going to have that every game. But overall, they did enough to win this football game. Just, again, comes back to that injury to Dylan in the second half.
There's so many parts of what the defense did that I don't think we don't even talk enough about it. We talked a little bit on the radio about how they'd only had like 9 total 3-and-outs. They'd scored on the first drive like 3 or 4 games in a row. To stop them 2 3-and-outs early in the game, and then the
number one team in the country with expected drive, expected yards on their drive, right? Like, they move the football, and so I think, Nebraska's, it's a fine line because you're going to get a little back padding in-house because those coaches understand the job they did, right? Those that know.
Yeah.
But you still didn't win. So you have, for young guys that are still trying to develop emotionally, they got to be thinking, okay, we some of us played our best ball, but it's not enough.
Right.
We've got to do better. And I think when you're taking your number 2 quarterback on the road, that might be just the calibrating and focus they need to redial because they got to double down on the process.
Yeah, going in, moving to the offense, and TJ Lateef coming in, and we obviously know what he does really well, right? I think he's a very accurate guy. He's a heady quarterback based on what I saw in high school, and he can move. You feel that it almost sets, you don't want to lose Dylan, but sets up pretty well against a team like UCLA does give up a lot of yards to quarterbacks running.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this game plan is going to look like. You go as a backup quarterback, and you know Dylan's the man. You're tailor-making the game plan about what he does best.
Sure.
You know, even though Dylan did keep a few times on some inside zones, you know that was, but that's not a normal. You're going to have more of that with TJ, right? He's maybe got 40, 50 snaps throughout the week. He's going to get 300 plus.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. It's mentally, it's vastly different knowing you are the starter going in. So this game plan is going to look a little different. They're going to have the RPOs that we've seen, more of those. You're going to have the run game with him and utilizing him. And just his ability to step up in the pocket and utilize the attributes that he has with his legs is going to be big time. I think when with an offensive line who does struggle to protect at times. But I'm excited to see just with Holgorsen this whole week with what he knows TJ can do. It's going to be fun to see. And on top of that, when the way Emmett's been running the football too, I mean, that's a heck of a foundation to build off of with a young quarterback and running game like that, heading against a defense who does struggle stopping the run.
Coach Holgorsen was asked a question about Barney. He talked about the progression. You're going to see more progression because of the mobility of TJ Lateef, right? A chance to get to the 3rd or 4th receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you've got true triple in play now with the run threat, with the addition to the RPO, and it's really, really tough to stop. I spent a lot of time trying to stop teams defensively, and I know when quarterbacks can give you, that run action, you have a second leading rusher and a guy like Emmett, you have to be careful, right? Because there's some give and take there. Barney is electric, and he's a guy you want to get the ball to. Lindenmeyer's a guy you want to get the ball to. But for all the spreading out you do of the football, that means Emmett's not getting his touches. So I think you got to go back to something Coach Rule said a couple of weeks ago where he said they need to figure out who they need to be versus who they're capable of being, with who they want to be. So I'm fascinated by the game plan, but I do love that I think with Coach Holgorsen and Coach Thomas and in that bunch on the offensive side of the ball, you have true triple now in play with your zone read game out of the gun.
Do you think, so since the first 3 games, since they've been in conference play, they haven't had more than 61 snaps in a game. You think you'll see more snaps from Nebraska in this game because of the offensively, yeah?
Potentially. Every game's so vastly different how the whole thing plays out.
Sure.
I tell you what, if the defense handles their business, Nico's a heck of a quarterback. He's very athletic back there as well. They have to be on their P's and Q's, stopping him, keeping him in the pocket, and limiting his run game as well. But I tell you what, if this defense comes out and plays with that same energy and passion that they had on Saturday night, yes, I think the offense can get more snaps. The defense will create more 3-and-outs and get this ball back. And how good the special teams can be as well, you can utilize that to get that ball back in the offense hands in a better scenario as well, not being backed up. So, yeah, I think they can get 60. That's crazy, 61 plays. I remember games where we played
you guys played
in
80
college.
and 90.
We played 80 and 90 snaps.
And SC's coming off a game
Yeah.
in which they only had 61.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
they had
yeah,
20
they need-
first downs apiece, so it's tough.
It was even. Yeah, it was an even
So
game.
yes, they can, but every game's different and lends
Yeah.
to different scenarios.
My
Obviously.
thought was more explosive plays with TJ in there. I think so. Nebraska's not had a lot of plays that have been explosive over the last 3 or 4 weeks. When they have had one, it's usually when Dylan has gotten out of the pocket and hit a Lindenmeyer down the field or something. I could see more of that happening this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think primarily because we'll see how UCLA plays it. I think they commit another set of eyes in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Which opens up things vertically. So it goes hand in hand. One less set of eyes that's accountable to roam the secondary versus looking in the backfield will open up opportunities on the outside. I think the key for Nebraska is to play with good rhythm. Whatever that is in terms of tempo and pace, will dictate the chunk ability or the big playability that I think will present itself.
The deal with having to have so many people playing left and right tackle and losing guys, I think you have to give them credit for the way they played, even after Pritchard went out. It was 1 sack, it was only about 4 pressures, and USC was trying to send guys. Now, even on the sack that caused the injury, it was a delayed blitz, but, I mean, they tried, and they really couldn't get to it. I don't know if we give enough credit to the offensive line.
No, I thought everything in general was much improved. Like I said, other than the result, I mean, God dang, they did the necessary things. That injury just sets you back heavily in a game like this. But you have Pritchard come out, Kanak comes in, you
switch sides.
Yeah. You send Corcoran over to the right. It's just, and that's, you got to give your tip of the cap though too to coaching there as well, to have that ability to play multiple positions. Where we say add more tools to your toolbox. These players have that ability to do that. Sounds like Pritchard's going to be back this week, practice as well. That's going to be big for this offensive line. But yeah, the run blocking has been much improved. But a game where USC is an aggressive defense, they held up their own against a very athletic defense.
As this show's going on and we're showing highlights of Emmett Johnson running, watch how many times you see Pritchett, you see Evans, you see those guys down the field. They're leaving the first level, they're getting the second level a lot. And that shows you what they were doing. Even on a highlight like this, that's making sure that now he made an incredible play right there. But there was a hat on a hat on that block.
As a running back, that's really all you can ask for too. Look at the surge there. It creates a nice little cutback lane, and he can afford to get downhill. And I think for as maligned as it is when tackles get beat on the edges with speed rushes, we have our mind made up on what's actually going on up front. They played 8 guys, 9 guys, and I don't know how many different combinations. At some point, you have to talk about development. I mean, that's a nice hole to run.
Give Donnie Raiola a little bit of credit for what he's doing. But here's another thing. I really believe there was a Sunday early morning where USC defensive ends were just waking up going 48, 44, 48, 40. They just kept getting banged every time they came across. It was some whamming.
Duo, wham, it's tough. And they're really starting to get the feel for when to come off on the double, how to insert. Now, my man Hector Knock, I've known him forever. He's got a little leaning Tower of Pisa as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He's got to be careful there, but he lowers boom, and then you give a chance for Lindenmeyer and hopefully Harburg to be more pass catchers. The best way to help out a young quarterback is the intermediate passing game. Don't be afraid to utilize hash to hash with these good targets.
Those guys, both those tight ends could camp down in the middle and put up a tent and light a fire. They were so open the other day.